There is something a tad bit sadistic about watching strangers struggle as a form of entertainment. It is also a tad bit patronizing to believe you could do better if put in their shoes and situations. This season of Love is Blind was a complete mess, and I want to delve into that today. It is my first time doing a reaction video, and I am excited about that. If you haven't watched the show and intend to do so, stop right here and come back later because this video will be full of spoilers. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Leila, and on this channel I talk about inner work and personal development. I won't criticize the Love is Blind contestant because I don't know them. I don't know how they truly are in real life, and we all know how editing can color someone one way over another. Instead, I want to comment on their behaviors and their patterns and see what we can learn from them. This addiction to suffering needs to stop, and this lack of inner work needs to stop. I want to start with AD. I have a lot of compassion for her because I used to be like her. It took me an energetic decision and constant inner work to evolve out of the conditioning AD was trapped in. She reminds me of many modern women navigating the dating world without doing the inner work necessary to thrive. She's beautiful, she is successful, she's confident, but she sabotages herself when it comes to dating. For me, she was an interesting mix of feminine and masculine energy on display, but in a way that did not serve her. Her outward femininity was on point, sometimes a tad bit performative, especially with her voice, but overall she was feminine in how she dressed, spoke, moved, her demeanor, everything. Unfortunately, where feminine energy would have mattered the most, she was in her masculine energy instead. She was steering the relationship from the beginning, leading it, and reassuring Clay of the value of the relationship they had. You see, being feminine doesn't just matter outwardly. That is the easiest part. The most challenging thing is to be in your feminine energy. And when you are in your feminine energy, you are not doing anything energetically. You actually inspire the masculine to get things done. The pursuit in the dating stage should have come from Clay, but AD was too busy reassuring Clay that she didn't realize she was basically dragging him along. If you ever find yourself in a relationship where you do all the convincing at the start, that is a major flag, red flag in my opinion. Both of you should be vibing on the same wavelength, eager to take things to the next level together. But if you are hustling like a salesperson trying to sell yourself to someone who's not fully buying in, that's a recipe for disaster or trouble. You end up discounting yourself and making compromises, all in a desperate bid to close the deal. The problem is when you settle for less, the relationship's value takes a nosedive. At the altar, she said something very poignant. Without my confidence, we would still be stuck in the pod. And that sums up everything I just talked about. She provided support and validation and cared for Clay, but it was never reciprocal. When Clay rejected her, she admitted in tears that she had been carrying the relationship the entire time. But why would she do that? Because she believed in potential. Can you imagine how exhilarating a woman must feel hearing a man say, "You're helping me grow and think about things I've never considered. I feel like a changed man." It's validating and electrifying. AD's ego must have been soaring hearing how she stood out from all the other women Clay, the player, had encountered in the past. So I can fully understand how that alone can lead a woman to overlook red flags. After all, she's changing him, isn't she? Despite Clay voicing all his concerns and fears, and more on that when we get to him, AD brushed him off because she felt like he was going to change with her presence, influence, and encouragement. And here comes the danger of potential. We want to be with someone with a growth mindset who will continue evolving and improving, but at the start of the relationship, you should pick a man who has already achieved the minimum level of personal growth you deem appropriate to save yourself from trouble. Your question should always be, what if he never changes? Would I still be happy with what I have? People can promise change, but there's no guarantee it would happen. Whatever your minimum standard, please make sure the man has already met that requirement. So anything above it that happens as the relationship progresses will be a bonus. AD saw the potential, not the reality of Clay. Why go for potential when you can go for an accomplished man or one already on his way? Someone in the pod, I don't remember who it was, called this type of man a fully potential man, and I laughed so hard. AD's lack of self-worth and self-love were verbalized after she was dumped at the altar and confessed while crying that she wants to be chosen, that she does a lot for these men but never gets the commitment in the end. As a woman, when your desire to be chosen and validated by a man is way above a healthy level, you run to risk. Best case scenario, a man will take advantage of your feminine gift, the loving, nurturing, elevating part. Or worst case scenario, you'll find a predator who will make your life hell. Focus on nurturing self-love and self-acceptance as your primary goal. External validation and affection from others should be considered a sweet addition like dessert rather than the main course. Relying solely on a partner to fulfill all your emotional needs can lead to an imbalanced relationship. If you make your partner the sole provider of things that matter to you and light you up, you will forever be at the mercy of other people. It's like giving your car keys to a driver who will drive you whenever and wherever they feel like it. Certain things like self-love, self-esteem, self-acceptance should be under your guardianship, hence the word self. Okay, let's move on to Clay. This man had no intention of marrying this woman. I'm happy they did not end up together. This is for me a blessing in disguise kind of situation. Anyway, when a man tells you who he is, believe him. If a man openly discusses his feelings and opinions about a relationship, take his words seriously. He warned AD repeatedly, but instead of seeing the red flag as a warning to pump the brakes, she responded by trying even harder to fix things and provide reassurance. It struck me odd how his discussions about AD centered heavily on how she loved him, made him better, did this and that for him. Notably absent was how he felt about her and positively contributed to her life. He only emphasized how she was beneficial to him. He was in the passenger seat of the relationship. His general attitude, at least for me, was let's see how far she'll jump for me, what promises she can make, and whether I can be convinced. So why was Clay on the fence from the get-go? 2 words: generational trauma. Clay's parents were married for over 20 years, but his dad cheated on the mother throughout the marriage, sometimes taking Clay with him on his cheating trips. Crazy stuff. So Clay grew up with a twisted notion of marriage, thinking that just like his dad, he would be destined to cheat and unable to flourish in a marriage. It doesn't help that Clay seems to love and look up to his dad, which is normal. So reconciling the dad he loves and the cheater who caused pain to his mom is mind-bending. He internalized his parents' relationship trauma and felt incapable of overcoming it. I can put myself in his shoes to some extent. My parents' relationship messed me up a little bit, and but I recognized early on how of an issue it would be for me. So I talked to my parents about it and I started my own healing journey. When people consistently focus on what they don't want and feel defeated, they often attract more of the same. I had wished he expressed more faith in his union with AD, but his lack of therapy and unresolved family issues wouldn't let that happen. Talking about Clay family, oh my god, his one-on-one with his dad before the wedding was so cringe for me. The moment was crucial. Instead of encouraging his son and offering him reassuring words, their conversation resembled a coach hyping his athlete before a game. No depth. It would have been nice if the dad had said not to make the same mistakes as I did. Your mom was a great woman. You know, whether he married AD or not, Clay needed to hear this from his dad, I believe, and the dad couldn't provide that because he too hasn't done any healing from his father's trauma. Clay and his dad are the perfect examples of what generational trauma is and looks like. No accountability or modeling something better, so we repeat the same cycle over and over and over again. Last but not least, I want to talk about Clay's nerve. After rejecting AD, he dared to tell her that the relationship was not over on his end, that they could continue dating until he was ready. The audacity of the statement comes from the fact that he took AD's love and devotion for granted. She did tell him, though, that if he said no, their relationship would be over, but he did not believe her. I am glad she stood her ground and let the relationship go. I'm pretty sure that was not easy. I was also happy to see Clay's growth at the reunion. He even had me choked up and teary-eyed during his little speech. I wish him good luck on his healing journey. AD looks like she's thriving, so I wish her the best as well. Now, let's do a quick overview of the other couples. 𝗧𝗴𝘀 was so insufferable to watch. I have never seen anyone display this level of insecurity and neediness. She kind of reminded me of Daniel in season 2. It got to a point where I felt terrible for 𝗀𝗃 because when you are with a man whose words do not match his actions, that dichotomy will exacerbate someone with an anxious attachment style like 𝗀𝗃. I think deep down she was insecure about her body, and she knew Jimmy did not really love her, and that's why she was trying so hard to fish for compliments and get him to commit more, etc. As for Jimmy, I have never seen someone whose facial expression, like his dead face, did not match the sweet, reassuring things coming out of his mouth. You did not need to be a body language expert to know Jimmy wasn't into her. Jimmy tried to play, I guess, the good guy and convince himself being with 𝗀𝗃 was the right thing to do. Anyway, they just dragged this relationship way longer than it should have been. What a sweet couple. It's interesting how healthy love can be perceived as boring love. People had a little to say about them because we were all attracted to the drama from the other couples. Anyway, Amy and Johnny are reminders that love and relationship, when done right, will flow easily. We do not need to suffer through stuff to make it work. Yes, there will be disagreement, disappointments, and things to work out, but building the foundation should be easy. Johnny saw Amy as the prize. He pursued her. They had critical conversations about finance and lifestyle and kids and retirement, and both families were invested and supportive. The perfect recipe for success. So, what do you think of the show? Whose couple did you learn the most from? What do you think of my analysis? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Take very good care of yourselves, and you will see me in the next video. Bye!